Hello children, let me begin like this. Think for a while and you make a list of 3 to 5 persons, you admire very much for their achievements. Maybe in the field of sports, medicine, media, anybody for that matter. Maybe you're attracted towards an actor, an actress, or a sports person. Somebody like that, whom you admire a lot. So you just make a list of them and write 5 or 10 points of what you admire most and why you like them the most. Now today we are going to see an article which was written about a lady, a woman. Her name is Santosh Yadav. What's her name? Santosh Yadav. And you know what's special in this lady? Do you want to know what achievement has she made? Yeah, let's see. See, this woman is the first woman in the world to climb Mount Everest twice. Not once, children. Climbing the Mount Everest, the highest peak, It is not easy to climb just once, but this lady, who is an Indian, she has climbed the Mount Everest twice. Do you want to know about her? And her story is really very inspiring. See, she was not born in a society where girls were encouraged more. That society needed only boys. They encouraged more of male birth than female birth. And if girls were born, these girls were given in marriage at a very early age, around 15 to 16 years. They were married and their life they had to lead like that. But this lady, she was very stubborn in what she wanted to become. And she made her own path. And she had certain desires and she wanted to become world famous. And how did she become world famous? By climbing the Mount Everest twice. Shall we see to the lesson? That is, reach for the top. Now we are going to see to the lesson, reach for the top. And this is part 1 and we are going to see about Santosh Yadav. There are 2 parts in this lesson. One is about Santosh Yadav. There are 2 ladies we are going to talk about. And this lady is who climbed the Mount Everest twice. Now turn with me to page number 99. I'm going to read the chapter, the lesson paragraph by paragraph and explain it. And I'm also going to give you the hard words and its meanings. Let's begin. The only woman in the world who has scaled Mount Everest twice was born in a society where the birth of a son was regarded as a blessing, and a daughter, though not considered a curse, was not generally welcome. When her mother was expecting Santosh, a traveling holy man, giving her his blessing, assumed that she wanted a son. But to everyone's surprise, the unborn child's grandmother, who was standing close by, told him that they did not want a son. The holy man was also surprised. Nevertheless, he gave the requested blessing, and as destiny would have it, the blessing seemed to work. Santosh was born the 6th child in a family with 5 sons, a sister to 5 brothers. She was born in the small village of Joniawaz of Rewari district in Haryana. The article begins like this. This woman whom we are going to talk about is Santosh Yadav. She was born in such a society which was biased towards having a male child over a female child. they felt that male children were a blessing to the family than the female children. Female children were not encouraged much. But this lady, she comes from a very different family. When Santosh's mother was carrying Santosh when she was pregnant, a saint, a holy man, they came across that holy man. That holy man thought that Santosh's mother wanted a son, and he blessed her that she would get a son. As she already had 5 sons, Santosh's grandmother said to the saint that they did not want a son. The saint also was very amazed to hear this. And what he did, he blessed her, and he said, yes, as you wish, let your desire be fulfilled, and you will be having a female child. And thus, who was born? The blessing turned into a reality. And who was born? Santosh, a girl child, was born. And she was the youngest child. And she was a sister to how many brothers? She was a sister to 5 brothers. And Santosh was born in a village named Joniavas in Rewari district of Haryana. So she comes from the state Haryana, and the district is Rewari, and her village, the name of her village is Joniavas. Okay. The girl was given the name Santosh, which means contentment. What is contentment? The meaning of contentment is satisfaction. But Santosh was not always content with her place in a traditional way of life. She began living life on her own terms from the start. Where other girls wore traditional Indian dresses, Santosh preferred shorts. Looking back, she says now, from the very beginning, I was quite determined that if I choose a correct and a rational path, the others around me had to change and not me. What is the meaning of Santosh? Santosh means contentment. Okay, what is contentment? Contentment means satisfaction. But she did not go along with her name. This girl was very different. Though her name was contentment, she was very much dissatisfied with the traditional way of life. She did not like that traditional way of life. From a very young age, she started to live a life which she liked. The other girls wore traditional Indian dresses like this salwar kameez and all that. She preferred wearing shorts. And Santosh was very much determined. She always used to say, whatever she felt was right for her. If she was right in her way, then others, she says, I would not change if I am right, but the others have to change their way. See, that is how she was, very stubborn in her life, and that was the way she led her life. Santosh's parents were affluent landowners who could afford to send their children to the best schools, even to the country's capital, New Delhi, which was quite close by. But in line with the prevailing custom in the family, Santosh had to make do with the local village school. So she decided to fight the system in her own quiet way when the right moment arrived. And the right moment came when she turned 16. At 16, most of the girls in her village used to get married. Santosh was also under pressure from her parents to do the same. See, Santosh's parents were affluent landowners. Affluent. What do you mean by affluent? Affluent, very well-to-do. They were rich, not very poor. And they were very wealthy only. They could even afford the money to send their children to study in schools in Delhi. So wealthy they were. They could send their children to New Delhi also, which was the capital of India, and that was very near to their village, so they could send them there. But due to certain customs, they decided to send Santosh to a school in the village because she's a girl, first and foremost. So she was not sent out. She was admitted in a school in her own village. Now Santosh decided that she had to take her own path. When the right time came, that time she wanted to tell or go along with her decisions. So she was waiting for a chance. When was this? At the age of 16. You know what will happen at the age of 16 to the village girls? Most of the girls were married. And she was also pressurized. She was also pressurized by her parents. When she was 16 years, now her time came. So her parents started to pressurize whom? Santosh also to get married. But do you think she got married? Let's see what happened. The meanings here are in line with. In line with means following. What is in line with? In line with means following. And then custom is tradition. Let's see what happened. Though they were very rich, now her time has come. This is the right time that Santosh had to decide. She was 16 years. All the other girls in her village got married, and she was also pressurized by her parents. Now let's see what actually happened. A marriage as early as that was the last thing on her mind. She threatened her parents that she would never marry if she did not get a proper education. She left home and got herself enrolled in a school in Delhi. When her parents refused to pay for her education, she politely informed them of her plans to earn money by working part-time to pay her school fees. Her parents then agreed to pay for her education. See what happened? This was the last thing ever she had in mind. She really never wanted to get married. Oh, that was the last thing on her mind. Pressure was on her by her parents. She said, she threatened her parents, bayapaduthana. If they want her to get married, அவளுக்கு ப்ராப்பராக எஜுகேஷன் கொடுத்த பிறகு தான் அவளுக்கு கல்யாணம் பண்ணி வைக்கணும் அப்படின்னு she started to threaten her parents. What she did was, she just left home. She left her house and she went to New Delhi, and there in a school what she did was, she enrolled herself. அவளே போய் admission பண்ணிக்கிட்டா. And the parents started to threaten her now. அவங்க refuse பண்ணாங்க. What they refused? They refused to pay her school fees. So what Santosh did, she politely informed them that she told that if you don't pay the fees, I am going to work part-time and I will pay the fees. And that was a shame for the parents, right? And she was the only girl. They liked that girl very much. So what they did was, they had to finally agree that they will pay her fees. So that's how Santosh continued her education in New Delhi. See how firm she was in her decision, isn't it? So the word meanings here are the last thing. The last thing is the least important thing. The least thing that she had in her mind was that, what? Was the marriage plan. And then politely is gently. Wishing always to study a bit more, and with her father slowly getting used to her urge for more education, Santosh passed the high school examinations and went to Jaipur. She joined Maharani College and got a room in Kasturba Hostel. Santosh remembers Kasturba Hostel faced the Aravali hills. I used to watch villagers from my room going up the hill and suddenly vanishing after a while. One day I decided to check it out myself. I found nobody except a few mountaineers. I asked if I could join them. To my pleasant surprise, they answered in the affirmative and motivated me to take to climbing. Santosh, she always wished to study more. She wanted to be highly qualified. And slowly what happened? Her father accepted her wish. She passed the high school, and then where did she go? She joined Maharani College, and that was at Jaipur. And there she stayed at the Kasturba hostel. From that Kasturba hostel, she could see the Aravali hills. It was very near the hostel. She often saw, these villagers climbing up the hills, and suddenly they disappeared. When they got down the other way, they disappeared. So she was very curious to know what was beyond the hills. One day she decided to find out. She wanted to go to that. She also wanted to climb that Aravali hills. And Santosh found a few mountaineers. One day she found a few mountaineers. Who do you call the mountaineers? The people who climb the mountain are called as mountaineers. She also asked them, she wanted to join them in their mountain climbing, mountaineering expedition. So when she asked them, they were very pleased, and they gave a positive answer. They said, yes, you can join us. So, and also they motivated her to come up the hills. Let's see what happened. What is the meaning of urge? Urge means very strong desire. What is urge? Urge means very strong desire. Check it out. Check it out means find out. She wanted to find out what was there, beyond that Aravali hills. That is, check it out. And then answered in the affirmative. What do you mean by answered in the affirmative? Answered in the affirmative means gave a positive reply. So let's see. That was the first step she took to climbing the mountain. Okay. Then there was no looking back for this determined young girl. She saved money and enrolled in a course at Uttarkashi's Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. My college semester in Jaipur was to end in April, but it ended on the 19th of May. And I was supposed to be in Uttarkashi on the 21st. So I did not go back home. Instead, I headed straight for the training. I had to write a letter of apology to my father, without whose permission I had got myself enrolled at Uttarkashi. Santosh climbed the Aravali hills, right? Since then, what happened? Since then, Santosh progressed gradually. She wanted to become a famous mountaineer. So what she did? She saved some money and enrolled in a mountaineering course at the Nehru Institute of Mountaineering at Uttarkashi. Her college semester had to end in the month of April. But you know what happened? It got delayed. So she did not have time to visit her home because she had enrolled in the mountaineering college, isn't it? Nehru Institute. And the reporting date was on the 21st. So she was supposed to be in Uttarkashi on the 21st. So she could not go home. What did she do? She straight away went for the training. And because she went away like that, she wrote a letter of apology means she asked sorry to her father because she had not told him anything, isn't it? And without telling him, she had enrolled for the course. So she did this mistake without his permission. So she had to write a letter of apology. Letter of apology means a sorry letter. Okay. So let's see to the meanings. No looking back. No looking back means to progress without interruption. Nothing disturbed her. She was very firm, very determined. She focused on mountain climbing and she did that. She just took up that. And then comes enrolled. Enrolled means took admission into. What is enrolled? Enrolled means took admission into. And then headed straight for. Headed straight for means went towards. She didn't go home. Instead, she went directly to the institute. Where? Which institute was that? Nehru Institute of Mountaineering. Let's see what happened. Thereafter, Santosh went on an expedition every year. Her climbing skills matured rapidly. Also, she developed a remarkable resistance to cold and the altitude. Equipped with an iron will, physical endurance, and an amazing mental toughness, she proved herself repeatedly. The culmination of her hard work and sincerity came in 1992, just 4 years after she had shyly asked the Aravalli mountaineers if she could join them. At barely 20 years of age, Santosh Yadav scaled Mount Everest, becoming the youngest woman in the world to achieve the feat. If her climbing skills, physical fitness, and mental strength impressed her seniors, her concern for others and desire to work together with them found her a special place in the hearts of fellow climbers. See, Santosh started to go on an expedition every year, right? Because she was a mountaineer now. She had joined the course in Uttarkashi. That is which college? Nehru Institute of Mountaineering in Uttarkashi. So she had to take practice, isn't it? So she had to practice climbing the mountains. So she started to practice and she went on an expedition. Every year they used to go. And slowly what happened to her is she improved her skills gradually. She improved to climb. And moreover, those places, the mountainous regions will be cold, So she developed immunity to cold weather and also this height phobia they will have. Height, when people see the height, they get scared. They have that fear for height and all that. So each one is frightened of something. So this she had to overcome. So she developed immunity to cold weather and heights. Santosh had the qualities, what quality she had was something great. See, the qualities that she had was, she had physical strength. Physical strength is the strength in the body. Physical strength she had. And then mental strength. Mental strength is in the mind. Very strong, very determined, very firm, very stubborn. If she had to do it, she will do it. That's how she was. Even when she was young, you saw that. And then she also had strong willpower. Willpower means whatever may come. She just had that confidence and she overcame everything. That's how she was. What are the 3 qualities that she had? Physical strength, mental strength, and also strong willpower. So these are the qualities that brought her to that height. Yes. And in 1992, 4 years after her first climb, that is, which was the first casual climb she took up? that is on the Aravalli Hills. So after that she climbed which one? Mount Everest. And when she climbed the Mount Everest, you know how old she was? She was 20 years of age. So Santosh became the youngest woman in the world to climb the highest peak. All her seniors were so impressed by the qualities that she had. What are the 3 qualities I told you? Physical strength, mental strength, and strong willpower. And all her friends, you know, the companions on the expeditions, you know, found her to be concerned of the others. She was also very helpful. Not only she being strong, she was actually very helpful to the others. And she was willing to work as a team. That's how she liked. She wanted to be as a team. And she wanted to help the others. The word meanings are matured. Matured means developed. And then resistance. What's resistance? Resistance is the ability not to be affected by something. So you resist, isn't it? So resist means the ability not to be affected by something. And then physical endurance. Endurance, தாங்கிறது. Endurance அப்படின்னா தாங்கிறது. So that is the strength that she had. And then the culmination. What is culmination? Culmination means end. End. Culmination means end. And then scaled. Scaled means climbed. Scaled means climbed. Let's see what happened. There's one more there. Equipped. Equipped means supplied with. Having everything. Equipped means supplied with. Okay. During the 1992 Everest mission, Santosh Yadav provided special care to a climber who lay dying at the South Col. She was unfortunately unsuccessful in saving him. However, she managed to save another climber, Mohan Singh, who would have met with the same fate had she not shared her oxygen with him. See, in this year during the 1992 expedition to Everest, you know, they climbed there. There was something very unfortunate that happened. What happened was she tried to save a fellow climber. A fellow climber is the one who is climbing along with her. So one companion had no oxygen, I guess. So she was very unsuccessful. She could not help him. He was dying. He died of it without oxygen, because oxygen level will be very less in the mountain regions. But there was another climber that she managed to save. And you know who he was? He was Mohan Singh. He also fell short of oxygen. He also had no oxygen. But Santosh, because she was very helpful and she wanted to work as a team, right? So she shared her oxygen with him. That was something great that she did during her expedition. Don't you think, children? Yes. Within 12 months, Santosh found herself a member of an Indo-Nepalese women's expedition that invited her to join them. She then scaled the Everest a second time, thus setting a record as the only woman to have scaled the Everest twice and securing for herself and India a unique place in the annals of mountaineering. In recognition of her achievements, the Indian government bestowed upon her one of the nation's top honors, the Padma Shri. Within the next year, the very next year, she had joined a group of Indo-Nepalese mountaineer women. Indo-Nepalese. Indo is India, Nepalese is Nepal. So that group she had joined, the women group, and then she climbed the peak the second time. And that's how she became the only woman to have climbed the Everest twice. Isn't it? First time in the year 1992, and then here she joined the Indo-Nepalese mountaineer women, and with that group she climbed it the second time, and she became the only woman to climb the Everest twice. Okay, Santosh made India very proud by getting her name recording in the historic records of mountaineering, because she has climbed it twice, isn't it? So she is actually broke the record. The Indian government honored her achievement by giving her the very, very important award, the top honors. Top honors is the highest awards. And what is that highest award? The Padma Shri. So she got the Padma Shri award. And she was the only woman who climbed or scaled the Everest twice. Annals. The word meanings we'll see. Annals. Annals is historic records. Bestowed upon her. Bestowed upon her means honored her with. Honored. And then comes top honors. Top honors means highest award. Got it? Yes. Describing her feelings when she was literally on top of the world, Santosh has said, it took some time for the enormity of the moment to sink in. Then I unfurled the Indian tricolor and held it aloft on the roof of the world. The feeling is indescribable. The Indian flag was flying on top of the world. It was truly a spiritual moment. I felt proud as an Indian. Also, a fervent environmentalist, Santosh collected and brought down 500 kilograms of garbage from the Himalayas. See, Santosh recollects her feelings when she was right on top of the mountain, isn't it? When she was literally at the top of the world. Mount Everest is the highest peak all of us know, and just imagine she was right on top. She could see the whole world, I guess. So when she was at the top of the world, she took time to realize that she had achieved something great. Don't you think so, children? And what did she do? She hoisted the Indian flag. Where? On top. On the highest point of the world. She just cannot describe her feelings, she says, in words. She cannot talk, she cannot tell. It is indescribable. Indescribable means she cannot describe. Varnikave mudiyadu. Appadi oru feeling she had, she says. She cannot tell it in words. She felt proud to be an Indian. As she believes in preserving the environment, she was a fervent environmentalist. So she believed, what is that fervent? Fervent means having strong and sincere feeling. She wanted to preserve the environment, that feeling she had. So she did her bit by bringing down around 500 kgs of garbage. The dirt, 500 kilograms of garbage from the Himalayas. She was an environmentalist. So she had the concern for that place. She felt that that place was dirty, so she brought around 500 kgs, whatever she could carry, So she could only carry 500 kgs of garbage down. So she brought that dirt down. Okay, so this was the achievement by Santosh Yadav. Let's recall, children. See, Santosh Yadav is whom we are talking about, and she was born in a very rich family. She was born in a small village of Joniawaz of Rawari district, where in Haryana, and she was the youngest child. A sister for how many brothers? A sister to 5 elder brothers. And due to the traditions, she was actually forced to study in the village school. She was not sent outside. And she opposed to the customs. She wanted to wear what? She wanted to wear shorts. She didn't wear traditional dresses like salwar kameez. And when she was 16 years old, she was also forced to get married like the other girls. But what did she do? She resisted. And she wanted to study before getting married. So she took admission in a school in Delhi, but her parents first refused to support her. But what did she do? She accepted it and decided to work part-time. Finally, her parents agreed to support her. And then after high school, what did Santosh do? Santosh joined the Maharani College of Jaipur, and she lived at the Kasturba hostel. There, that was the start actually, isn't it? So there she saw the villagers climbing the Aravalli hills, and she was curious also to know what was at the other side of the hills. So she joined a group of mountaineers there, and from there she took up that interest in climbing, isn't it? And that was her first expedition, first trip climbing the mountain. And within 4 years, that is in 1992, she climbed Mount Everest. And what are the qualities she had, I told you? Determination, mental strength, and then what else? Physical strength, physical endurance, willpower, and mental strength. Yes. Her fellow climbers appreciated her concern for the others, and she wanted to work in a team. And also she helped the others, isn't it? And she saved the life of a fellow climber named Mohan Singh. What did she do? She shared her oxygen cylinder with him. Then later she joined an Indo-Nepalese women expedition and climbed the Everest twice, thus becoming the first woman in the world to climb the peak twice. Santosh cannot describe that great feeling of happiness and pride she had when she was on top of the world. What did she do there? She hoisted the Indian flag. She felt very proud to be an Indian, and also she was a fervent environmentalist. So what did she do finally? She brought down 500 kilograms of garbage from the Himalayas. I guess you like this lesson. It's a nice lesson. It shows the determination, the willpower, the physical endurance, and also the strong mental strength. So this is how we should also be very confident. You learn all this from this great lady, Santosh Yadav. Thank you very much, children.